Well, what a fantastic day, and I'm so honoured and I'm so proud that I've been given the honour of closing everything up today, probably because they knew I'd probably run over by an hour and everyone's got trains to catch you and things. So, but before I start, I think we need to give all the LGfL staff a huge, massive round of applause. Not that long, I haven't got that long left. Because you don't get a lot for free nowadays. And, you know, when you've got a free venue to come into, the best lunch on a conference anywhere in the country ever. Let's hear it for those caterers through there. And I've just been blown away from all the speakers that I've heard today, the inspirational stories from you guys just there that we learnt about last night. But I'm going to speak today about Parklands, a school built on love, because for 9 years, my entire life was built around this school. And I've got 25 minutes to try and summarise that 9 years, because in January, I made the brave move of moving to the Create Trust down in Birmingham, with, instead of inspiring 380 children, I've now got 3,800 children there, 300 staff. A new challenge, because I've taken Parklands to this level. Now I wanted to go back and do, for disadvantaged children, an opportunity in Birmingham, where 2 of the schools are RI, one's inadequate, but one's a really, really solid good. And I'd like to go in there and sort of make a difference. So, but this, and it touches me that I'm here with John, because John saw bits and bobs of this speech around about 4 or 5 years ago, and the investment that LGfL put into Parklands was unprecedented, and it was all from the back of me coming in, having the luxury of speaking. But this today will be my very, very final time that I talk about Parklands, a school built on love, because I've now moved to pastures new, so I'm going to start putting together a new speech and things. So, but the background of the school, when I took it over 9 years ago, was that it was one of the most deprived schools in the country, on one of the most deprived estates in the country, in a lovely place called Seacroft. It had 33% special needs. It had a whopping 150 exclusions in that particular year, 5 different head teachers, so nobody knew if they were coming or going. They didn't want me to get the job. But luckily enough for me, nobody else applied, so they had to take that gamble on me. But I went into that job because, you know, we set challenges every single day for children, and I thought, nobody wants that job, so if I go into it and it doesn't work out well, I can just go back to being a deputy or a classroom teacher and things. I was quite late coming into headship. In a sense that I was 44 when I came in, because I wanted to be the best classroom teacher, I wanted to be the best maths leader, I wanted to be the best deputy, learn in the trenches. So I went into so when I became head, I'll be able to move on and develop that sort of school. And the local authority had graded it inadequate, which I loved because I take positivity from anything. And they said, that's not good, Chris. I said, it is, because I get 20 days free support from you guys that I don't have to pay for. So you can help me out and things. The most popular game was Tig on the Roof, which, for you Southerners out there, it's like tag, but on a roof and things. And when I moved into school, they were so proud that they just opened up a new £15,000 padded cell. So it had an exclusion room where the 17, 18 naughtiest kids would be in there. Everyone wants to be in that room, because they had one teaching assistant alongside them. When you're watching on CCTV, chairs were going back and forth. And then it got to about 2 o'clock, one were dragged out, put in the padded cell as a message to the others. Needless to say, that came out pretty much on the first week, working like a glove. So, up to 3 weeks ago, it's now 7 weeks ago, because I'm 7 weeks into this role, we were lucky enough that we only had 1 exclusion in the 9 years. No staff retention problems. I only had 4 staff that had actually left for promotion sort of reasons. We were TES National Award winners. And given the deprived nature of the school, you know, and like my great friend John, who was speaking earlier, I too had free school meals growing up. I had no dad at home. You know, I had to get, in good old 1970s school, I had to stand up in front of the old class and walk out to the front to go down to the warehouse to go and get my free school clothes. And that's the first time I ever had a pair of Levi's, which they said I'd grow into, and I did by the time I was 23 and things. So But it was about believing. And I told these teachers, you know, these kids can achieve anything if we build a school on love, if we make it exciting, make them want to come in. You know, and given, as I said, the deprivation there, we actually hit the top 1% of schools in the country in maths, which I know we were talking with Al earlier about governorship and things. That caused me problems with my governors because they wanted to know why reading and writing were only in the top 5% and things. So during one maths moderation visit, I had the SATS police in there. And because I'd devised this thing called early bird maths that they do from reception through till year 6, 20 minutes every single day, 5 days a week, that's 100 minutes a week, 39 weeks a year, 3,900 minutes, divide that by 60, gives you 65 hours extra maths a year. And they watched the arithmetic paper, they knocked out this arithmetic paper in 14 minutes. I said, I think I'll collect the papers in now. And the inspector said, you won't touch the papers, they'll get the full allocated 30 minutes. And then when she said, I've got a meeting in Stockport at 1:30, I'll watch your reasoning paper. Well, the reason for that story is when those results came back, one child dropped a mark because of the impact of this early bird, this impact and this belief that children can achieve. And it came to a great end in 2017 when we were lucky enough to get an outstanding grade from Ofsted. Personally, I'd get rid of that grade because you're either good or you need some support and things. And an outstanding is literally a flick of a coin. Sometimes it comes down your favour, sometimes it doesn't. But it was my chair of governors there that I was so proud of because he'd been chair of governors for 33 years. Not just a governor, the chair. And my average staff age at the school when I took it over was about 27, 28. So he'd really seen this roller coaster of a ride. Everything built at Parklands was built on well-being. Well-being of teachers. And when I talk teachers, I'm talking TAs, office staff, learning mentors, cleaners, everybody. We're building loo days. Now, my lovely family came to collect my suitcase today for me. They'd heard this speech before, so this one went off again. But bringing my own daughter to one of the most deprived schools in the country was a big thumbs up for the community. If he's bringing his child here, he just wants them to achieve like we did. So I do loo building days. One of the reasons I brought our Daisy to our school is because when she was in reception and she got the opportunity to play Upsy Daisy Angel, it was a bit heartbreaking because I said to my head teacher, can I go and see her? Because reception don't do a 7 o'clock performance. And my head looked at me and said, of course you can go, but who's going to have your class? So I missed out on her doing there. So I brought her to Parklands where the quick ending is, by the time it came to year 6, she played Sharpay in High School Musical. Boom, that was the best thing I'd ever done in the school, putting on that. Likewise, a really sporting son, who I never got to see play any of his football. But again, positives and everything. I created a Sunday League football team for him to play in, and we ended up with 54 players at one point, running over 4 teams. So everything was to do with well-being. And everything obviously is to do with the well-being of the child, with well-being, not just for 1 week a year, you know, it's embedded through PHSE and other such things every week, but we always start every half term actually, it ended up being with a well-being week. If you get children that are happy, then you get parents that are happy. And in deprived areas where domestic violence is quite high, if you've got parents going home on a Friday night buzzing like a fridge with their children, then it makes a huge impact on their weekends. And when the big thing I miss about Parklands is my fun day Friday best seats in the House Assembly, because that was what all the week built up to. And when you've got 120 parents that are in there watching this assembly, it touches your heart and things. I've got a little example of it in a bit. I brought in an unprecedented £500,000 last year from businesses, spread around 380 children. So I ended up with a situation where I could have 46 teaching assistants in 15 classes, 5 learning mentors, just to balance my books and things. But I know I'm very much in an exception there. And if I'd have been given an hour and a half to speech, I would have gone through all that with you and things. So. And this is an experience. So as I said, I wanted, when I took over Parklands, these children to have the same opportunities as my own children do. Like John, I had nothing growing up, but I didn't miss it, because if you don't have it, you don't miss it. We had lots of love and things. But as my children now, when you get a knock on the door in Portugal, and it's Amazon delivering books for your daughter that she just ordered online, you're thinking, get in a swimming pool like your brother and things. But these children don't have opportunities like that. So I wanted to give them things that were totally different. So hopefully this will play when I press. probably the only school in the country that gets a helicopter in every year and taking them on helicopter rides. And again, quick show of hands, who's been on a helicopter? Okay, quite a few more than normal and things. So, but for these children, they experience something that not a lot of people do, and it makes them feel special and give you that extra bit in front. So, everything we think about for the child. Helicopter trips. When I took, it was essential for me for these children to have residentials. I never went abroad till I was 22. My holiday was a day in Cleethorpes, which again, you don't miss Mallorca if you've never been, but we loved and valued those holidays that we sort of had. My best ever experience of holiday was my first year 6 residential. Boom, it was outstanding. I wanted all these children to experience this. Thus, I got funding for every year group, year 3, year 4, and year 4 twice, year 5 and year 6 to have a totally free sort of residential. Whilst in Whitby with the year 5s, there were this group of children rubbing sand between the toes. I said, what are you doing? They went, ooh, don't that feel funny? I said, what? And they said, sand between your toes. And it transpired that these children, these 50 kids that I took, only 3 of them have been to the beach. So I said, I'm not having that. Shut the school down. We shut it down every July. We go to Bridlington, okay, where every child from reception to year 6 has a right to eat an ice cream on a beach, splash in a sea, things that we take for granted and things. And it, as I said, it broke my heart that they weren't having these opportunities. And that was my drive for what I sort of did when I was there. One of the big things is also that first Christmas I'm walking around. Have you been to see Santa? You've been to see Santa? I found about 8 kids that had seen Santa. Pulled my senior staff in that night. I said, we are opening Christmas Day this year. My staff said, nobody's going to work Christmas Day. And that's why you've got to listen, because nobody would work Christmas Day. But I always have a plan B. So we opened up Christmas Eve, where, you know, every child gets a present, you know, unprecedented, things that we take for granted. And Christmas just gone, 800 Christmas Day dinners, 800 presents. Northern Ballet spent 18 hours building the exact same replica stage that's in the Grand Theatre in Leeds, sent in an orchestra for the children to experience some capital culture and things. So, and this is a quick extract of what the Christmas sort of looked like.
Good evening from Look North. The real meaning of Christmas was on show today at a school in Leeds. Parklands Primary should have been closed, of course, but it opened its doors for an Eve of Christmas Eve party, all for the local community, and Harry was there.
Children queuing to get into school, and they can't wait to get in. Welcome to Parklands Primary, an outstanding place in every way, thanks to its head teacher.
Well, it broke my heart 4 years ago when I first started this fantastic school, when it came to be attention that only a few of our families ever got the right to see Santa. It's every child's right to see Santa at Christmas. So we just wanted to open up school to show how much we care and how much we love these children, inside school hours, outside school hours. All the presents that we've got, all the food, everything's donated to give Parklands and Seacroft, the community, sake something really special and memorable at Christmas time.
A polar bear prowled the school, no one minded. Santa Claus was there too. All the staff worked for free, by the way, all for children like this.
Some of the staff come in and they've decorated all of this on Friday, and they come in to give presents to all the children.
It's about seeing people that you wouldn't usually see because it's the 2-week holiday for Christmas.
We get to come in and see Santa, and we go down to the dining hall and get some food.
Parklands Primary is not just any old school. It's the life force of the community. It knows its work is not done, even if it's closed.
Seacroft smile.
That normally brings in about £30,000 a year from businesses to support that things now, just because we went above and beyond. Now, holiday times are the most vulnerable time, and this is where I'll have to really whiz through now to catch up. But, you know, working with great partners, you know, has ensured that Christmas we can open every single holiday from half term right through to the big 6 weeks holiday. The school opens 3 days a week to make sure that there's hot food provided. My staff hated me. I know it's hard to believe. My staff hated me when it snowed, because as a year 6 teacher, you'd be thinking, come on, keep that snow coming, snow day tomorrow. But my staff know if it snows, we're opening, even if it's 11:30 in the morning, because we've got to get them kitchens open, because we've got to give them a warm food and things. And it's every business that we bring in, we give them experience. And I've got a couple of examples to sort of show. But during lockdown one, it was all about food. And we emptied out every Costa coffee. My parents had some kind of caffeine addiction after, like we have today out there. We emptied out every single Burger King. The big scoop was McCain's, who sent me 35,000 meals to distribute on the hottest day of the year, but we did it. That's 19 tons of food, and we did that. And I got a random 20 grand that someone just rang up and passed me down the phone. And so it was absolutely essential. Lovely. Let's localise the sat just down here at the front. On lockdown 2, it was about laptops and making sure that children had laptops. Because when good old Gavin, it's such a shame to see him not doing us very well at the moment, isn't it? But it had good old Gavin saying, everyone's got to do remote learning. Yeah, ow. So let's localise it, of course, LGfL. We managed to end up with around about 600 laptops and everything. And then the Wi-Fi dongles that we then needed, because when we had the laptops, they had no internet and things. So just to finish off now, there's a couple of lovely little videos to show what Parklands is like, because sadly, I won't be there if you came and visited anymore. But it's all about getting children wanting to come to school, loving coming to school, because if they're in school, they're learning. And this is an example of how a fun day Friday, best seats in the House Assembly. So everyone's nice and happy, and then they'll all sit down at the end and get ready for the next part of the show. Funny enough, we ended up on the Anton Deck Saturday Night Takeaway, which was a real adventure for them. But it's not all fun. There's a work ethic in, and this is how my world famous times tables, and again, giving you deprivation of these children. When I tell you these are 5 years old, doing their times tables, it just shows what dreams can be made.
So we'll ask for
5 years old.
times 9. 81. Stage people. 1-0. Let's have 7 times 4. Let's have 7 times 3. Let's have 6 times 4. 24. Yeah. That's fantastic. You're going to do the first one. We've got 9 nines. Give a round of applause. Can we get your special certificate? Give a round of applause. We've got our champion. It's lovely. Nicholas, who gets a limited edition superstar certificate and a trophy. Give a round of applause. So now,
and then just to finish off today, I was lucky enough invited by the Shine Trust to do a speech with Gary Neville up in Manchester. And I did my speech with Gary, and I know that Shine Trust had been filming for the previous 6 months. And it was the first time that they played this video, which sums up Seacroft, where it is, the low level academically, from parents and things, and the need for us as educators to give these children belief and hope. Because when you believe in the children, you believe in the teachers, and you believe in the teachers, this is everyone, anything can be possible. So this is my sort of final sort of swan song. Last time I'll see this on a stage.
I'm Riley and I'm 11 years old. I live in Seacroft, which is a part of Leeds, and I go to Parklands Primary School.
Seacroft itself's got a high proportion of unemployment, it's got high levels of crime. We are one of the most deprived primary schools in Leeds and in the country. Education standards in Seacroft up to 4 years ago was exceptionally low.
I didn't really enjoy school because I didn't get anything and I always had to ask someone to help me. It was really frustrating. I just felt like I didn't want to do it anymore.
I've had the pleasure of teaching Riley for 2 years now. I think that he was struggling because he just wasn't really interested. He was quite shy, so he didn't tend to put his hand up. He wouldn't like to put himself out there. So we were searching for an intervention to help, and we found Times Table Rockstars.
I came up with the idea of Rockstars about 9 years ago in my classroom because I had a group of 30 Year 7s and they didn't know the times tables, and that was hindering them making progress in maths. When Shine came in, it gave me that opportunity to go beyond the perimeter of my school into many others.
Times Table Rockstars can be used as a way of making children not afraid of maths, not dislike maths, actually see that maths can be fun. Every week we have a times table competition to become the overall class champion.
Times 7.
Part 2.
Just, okay, well done, give a big round of applause, right?
They then compete in the Friday assembly.
Key stage 1, times tables champions out in front, please.
And the one winner becomes the overall times table champion.
12 times 6.
72.
72 minutes, guitar, a round of applause.
Didn't really like maths before Times Table Rockstars came. Now I'm really good at it. It just pushes people to do the best of their ability, and if you practice that much, it'll make you good at maths.
Maths attainment 4.5 years ago when I first started was rock bottom. Now we're fast forward 4.5 years and we're in the top 1% of schools in the country. And this all comes through by using times tables to create a love of maths, which then actually spreads across the entire curriculum.
I'm much happier at school because I can do stuff myself without asking anybody to help me. It just makes me feel like my confidence has grew.
I am so proud to be associated with Shine because we're on the same page, we share the same mission of having an impact and creating something that's going to make that difference.
Who wants to be a rock legend? Me!
Projects like Times Table Rockstars really work for children like Riley. His knowledge and love of maths now has helped him in other areas of the curriculum. He's helping other children with their times tables. He's really become a role model. I know that he's got the ability to do whatever it is that he wants to do, and I know that he'll succeed.
It has taken me 2 years, but now I'm a Times Table rock god.
So for the very final time, thank you so much for listening to me today. It's still emotional when I sort of watch that, given the journey. But who knows, in the next few years I might be invited back to talk about the impact that we've had on Create and the new trust and things. So that was my book that came out sort of last year, but thank you so much for being my very final audience on this. So travel back safely and big love sent to you all.